Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to GNR Central. And it's been almost 12 hours since I wrote the original post, and I believe at this point in time we're the only news site that's actually reporting the story. And I want to just say I'm not the one who broke it. I want to give a bunch of kudos to Gibbos from the My GNR forums. I believe he's the one who posted this, and I have no idea how he came across this. But this is the closest confirmation we've got to Guns N' Roses working on any new material, and I can confirm 100% that somebody close to the band has also confirmed that this is a legit news story. So here's how everything went down over the last 24 hours. So there's a company in LA called Cruise Control Amplification. I guess they're a company you take your guitar stuff to get serviced if you need some work done. Now, if you go to their website, Guns N' Roses are listed as some of their past and current clients, as well as Zakk Wylde and a bunch of other well-known bands and guitarists. So here's what happened. Cruise Control Amplification's webpage posted this post, which has now since been deleted, but somebody was smart enough to take a screen grab. And it says, Slash's 1987 Silver Jubilee in the house, dropped off by GNR producer Karl M Costanzo himself. The amp needs to be serviced and tuned up to sound stellar for this Saturday's recording of new material at Axl Rose's studio in Malibu. I'm one of the very fortunate few ever getting to work on and play this cool amp. Now, this is pretty much the closest confirmation we've got to new GNR material. There's been interviews that Slash and Duff have done in the past where Slash has said they haven't really started working on new material, but they've talked about it, and that's all we've really got. And maybe it's something they've been hiding. If you guys remember, up until the reunion, Vicky Hamilton, who was close friends with Slash, said that she texted Slash, and he said there was no reunion in the works, and a week later we find out they're playing Coachella. So what could this mean? Now, there's a couple coincidences going on at the same time. And one of them being is that the copyright strikes that have been going on YouTube have changed a bit over the last couple of weeks. People are starting to say that the copyright strikes seem more official, like they're from the actual record label and the publisher Universal. And the reason people are saying that is because even people's private videos are getting hit with copyright strikes and copyright claims. Now, typically, it's hard to hit people's private videos unless, they've posted them somewhere where they've got the link, but usually private videos aren't hit. Now, you're probably wondering, Sid, why are you bringing this up? The two don't seem related. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is because prior to the Appetite for Destruction reissue being announced, Universal started to take down a lot of the demos and songs off of YouTube prior to the announcement and the release of the reissue. But what's kind of strange is a lot of the stuff that's been taken off YouTube are just live recordings that fans have captured with their camera. So some people are thinking it could be maybe that they're going to release a live DVD of one of the concerts from the Not in This Lifetime tour, and maybe Slash is doing overdubs. Now, I think Slash typically doesn't do overdubs on his own live stuff with the Conspirators. The overdubs tends to be more of a perfection thing that Axl likes to do. That would be my one theory about what this could possibly be. So my other theory is that maybe they're recording a song for a soundtrack, possibly the Terminator movie, for the Terminator movie coming out this fall. I think it's coming out late October, early November, which tends to coincide pretty closely when they're playing those festival dates. One part of me thinks maybe they're re-recording You Could Be Mine for the movie, but Axl's live voice for that song is terrible, so I kind of discount that one. But it could be a new song as well. Some are speculating that it could be a cover version of the Who song The Secret that the band plays live. Maybe they're going to cover it for the Terminator movie as well. My other hypothesis is that you guys remember a couple of months back, I think it was at the beginning of the year, there was rumors that Guns N' Roses were going to be doing a tribute to Mark Bolan, at least playing one of his songs. I think it was Children of the Revolution for a T-Rex tribute album. Well, the guy who was working on the tribute record came out and said, no, it's not true. Guns N' Roses is not working on it. But then in the same statement, he said, I think Axl is working on a Mark Bolan tribute song, though, or something along those lines. So we don't know yet. It's kind of funny that they got these festival dates coming up. And I think at those festival dates, we may hear whatever these guys are going to be working on this weekend. But I think it's definitely the most promising thing we've heard to date. A lot of other people are speculating that maybe it's just working on some of the leftovers from Chinese Democracy. There was a interview done with Alan Niven, who was Guns N' Roses' former manager, and he said he recently spoke to Slash, and he said that Axl's been holed up in his house with some of his leftover songs from Chinese Democracy. So he said that a few months ago. So that's a strong possibility, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think we can expect to see from Guns N' Roses in the near future, and what do you think Slash is potentially working on? But I have to point out, like, how stupid do you have to be, like, to have your company, which is probably making a lot of money, you know, servicing Guns N' Roses, to post something like that, knowing how secretive the band is, and to know that, okay, you're probably going to get some blowback. Or what do you think is going to happen when you post something about Guns N' Roses? It's going to catch wildfire and spread around the internet, and a lot of people are going to see it. And I wonder if anybody got in a lot of trouble for posting what they did. So turning now to some non-GNR news. So Dizzy F and Reed, he released his first solo record about a year ago. We interviewed him. It was called Rock and Roll Ain't Easy. Well, he finally got around to putting out his first music video for the album. So the video features his band Hookers and Blow, and it was directed by his pals Scotty Slam and Billy Baker. He said it was pretty easy to make, and if you guys want to check out the video, it's basically his band playing the song live in a club. So I've linked to it down below if you guys are interested in checking that out. It was announced pretty recently that Dizzy's going to be working on another record, except this time it's going to be Hookers and Blow's first record. It's going to be, from what I've heard, a covers album similar to the Spaghetti Incident. Turning to some potential Guns N' Roses news, so there's a new Shannon Hoon documentary that's going to be premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival called All I Can Say. And according to VOA News, the entire documentary features personal footage Hoon shot starting from 1990 when he was in Lafayette, Indiana, up until the time he passed away in 1995 as a result of an overdose at the young age of 28. So in 1990, he began shooting tapes of himself and charting his band's rise to fame, and it wasn't until about 6 years ago that Hoon's daughter, Nico, brought a box of her father's tapes to Danny Clinch, who was a filmmaker who shot the band in the past. So there's a trailer from a few years ago on YouTube. I'm not exactly sure if it's the same film or in how much of that footage in the trailer made it into the final movie, but there's a chance we could see some Guns N' Roses footage we haven't previously seen. So Clinch said, "I knew Shannon often had a video camera with him, and we realized that he basically filmed everything, and it was overwhelming. We had a rough cut, and all of a sudden, Hoon's longtime girlfriend Lisa would call us and say, 'Hey, I found 2 more tapes.'" So his tapes begin in 1990, while a not yet famous Hoon watched tractor competitions in Lafayette, Indiana, and run right up to the day of his death. Hoon obsessively chronicled himself while Blind Melon went from an upstart band to a rock sensation, thanks largely to their hit video for No Rain. Often speaking directly into the camera, Hoon documents everything from hanging out with Axl Rose to the band arguing over a Rolling Stones cover. He filmed his daughter being born, and he filmed many of his interviews with journalists, and in total it amounted to about 250 hours of footage. The filmmakers Clinch, Taryn Gould, and Colleen Hennessy opted to credit Hoon as a co-director as well. Clinch said the idea that he was documenting himself for the world to see is really interesting. Did he feel like the candle was burning really bright and it might fade out? I don't know. So the director Asif Kapadia extensively used personal film archives for his Amy Winehouse documentary titled Amy, but all I can say is almost entirely from Hoon's point of view, holding so much of Hoon's life in his hands. Clinch grants he has a heavy responsibility. He said, it's been a lot on my shoulders given, and it's been a gift to be given these tapes. Now, if you guys remember, Blind Melon opened up for Guns N' Roses a couple dates in 1992, and then they opened up for them quite a bit in 1993, especially when the band was touring Europe in that spring. And, of course, Shannon appeared in the Don't Cry video. If you guys have seen the behind the music for Blind Melon, there's a short clip in there where he's in the studio with Axl and Slash during the Illusions records, and he's recording background vocals for, I don't know what song it is, but it's for probably one of the several songs he sings background vocals on, including The Garden, including Don't Cry, including November Rain. He sings background vocals on, you guys may not know. And he also sings on You Ain't the First as well. Turning now to some other Guns N' Roses related news. So Melissa Reese has been sick for the last 3 weeks. I think she's suffering from a laryngitis or bronchitis and a sinus infection. Basically, it's an upper respiratory infection. And she posted that she was she ended up in urgent care in the hospital. And if you guys have seen how much sugar she eats on her Instagram and Twitter page, I'm not really surprised. Especially because she's older than I am. She's like 34 years old. So hopefully she's doing much better and feeling much better. But if you guys follow her on Instagram, she's always posting like whenever she's sick how miserable she is. So hopefully she gets a speedy recovery. And I'm sure by the time that Guns N' Roses hit the road in September and October, she'll be all better. So she wrote, "Bored and waiting, so I'm writing a PSA. Do yourself a favor and don't get sick for 3 weeks and end up in urgent care like your girl over here. Take a vitamin and eat shit that tastes gross instead. Your new BFFs." And then she had like a apple emoji, banana emoji, and so forth. So that does it for today's news, guys. Thanks for watching. I want to know from you guys, are you excited about this news? Do you think it's promising, or do you think Axel's going to shelve the material and it'll never see the light of day? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, guys, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And go check us out at gnrcentral.com for the latest Guns N' Roses news. Take care.